If someone had told me a year ago that a wolf shifter alpha would cross continents just to annoy me, protect me, kiss me, confuse me, and ruin my peace, I would have laughed, packed my bags, and moved to Mars. But here I was, in the Istanbul morning breeze, standing in front of Xavier at the entrance of my dorm like the universe was mocking me. He looked exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes, jaw rough with stubble, hair messy like he'd slept maybe 2 hours in a week. And yet the bastard still managed to look like trouble wrapped in sex appeal. "You look like you fought a plane," I said, crossing my arms. His gaze dragged slowly down my body. Hungry, possessive, annoying. "You look like you've been avoiding me," he said. "I wasn't avoiding you." His eyebrow lifted. "Good girl. Try that lie again. Maybe it'll sound convincing the second time." My stomach flipped. Not because of the good girl. Okay, maybe because of that too. I looked away, pretending the pigeons were incredibly fascinating. "So," I muttered, "how long are you planning to stay in Turkey?" He stretched his spine, cracking it, giving me a view of muscles beneath his black t-shirt. 9 months, he said casually. I choked. "Are you 9 months?" "Pack sent me on a break," he said, like it was no big deal. "They said I was becoming unbearable. You are unbearable." He smirked. "Only for anyone who isn't you." My heart punched the inside of my ribs. "Xavier, you can't stay with me. I have classes, friends, a dorm, a life." And, I snapped, "you're not fitting in my dormitory room." He looked offended. "I'm sleeping at a hotel, sweetheart. I'm not a barbarian." "Could have fooled me," I muttered. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I'll stay out of your way, let you study, let you do your little human things." "My human things?" He ignored that. "But if someone touches you, follows you, even looks at your mark wrong..." I stopped breathing. He leaned in, nose brushing my temple, voice low and dark. "I'll tear Istanbul apart." "Xavier," I whispered, "you can't keep acting like you're my shadow." He smiled against my skin. Too late. I pulled back, cheeks warmer than I wanted them to be. "Okay, listen. We need rules." He groaned loudly. "No, absolutely not." "Yes. No. Xavier." He folded his arms like a stubborn child with 6'4" of alpha muscle behind it. "Myriam, wolves don't do rules. We do instincts." "Well, my instinct says you're going to obey these rules unless you want me to book you a ticket back home." His nostrils flared. He hated that. But he listened. "Rule number 1, I said. You can't follow me everywhere." Denied. "Xavier, I'll follow you discreetly." "That's not a rule." "Next one." I glared. "Rule 2, no touching me whenever you feel like it." He laughed. Actually laughed. "You're adorable." "Xavier." "Sweetheart," he said, stepping closer. "Your pulse jumps every time I brush against you. You want me to touch you. Not when I'm studying. Especially when you're studying." I grabbed his shirt and shoved him back. He looked at me like I'd just handed him a gift. "Keep going," he murmured. "I love when you get violent." "Rule 3, I hissed. You sleep at the hotel." He tilted his head. "Fine." "Wait, really?" He shrugged. "For now." "For now. Great. Perfect. Disaster pending." He stepped around me, brushing my waist with his hand, breaking every rule already, and whispered, "Be ready by 7. We're going out." "Excuse me? I didn't agree to that." He smirked and walked away, voice echoing. "You just did." "And the worst part?" My stupid heart fluttered like I'd been waiting for that exact chaos. 9 months. Oh, hell. I was in trouble. If there was one place I never expected to see an alpha werewolf, it was my university campus at 8:30 in the morning. Students rushing, professors grumbling, coffee spilling. Chaos everywhere. but normal human chaos. Then he walked in. Xavier. 6 foot something of dangerous beauty, broad shoulders, black shirt clinging to muscles, hair pushed back, eyes too damn intense for daylight. He looked like a magazine cover wandered into the wrong world. And the world noticed. Girls stared first. Whispers turned into giggles. Somebody actually dropped her iced coffee on her own feet. Boys stared too, but differently. Like, is this guy auditioning for a Marvel role? Even the professors paused. Me? I froze. He didn't blend in. He didn't even try. He walked through the courtyard with that slow, predatory stride, shoulders loose, hands relaxed, but his eyes scanning every corner, every sound, every heartbeat, like he was hunting, and unfortunately, he found exactly what he wanted. Me. His gaze locked onto mine across the courtyard, and the damned bite on my neck burned. My knees went weak. I hated that. Okay, I loved it. He started walking toward me like he owned the place. "Oh, my God," my roommate Elif whispered. "He's coming. To you. Why is he coming to you? Who? Is that your boyfriend?" "No," I hissed. It's complicated. Stop staring." "I can't stop. Look at him." Before I could run, Xavier reached me. Then he did the one thing that sent my heart sprinting into my throat. He touched my waist. Not a big touch. Just a gentle slide of his palm. But sparks shot through me like electricity. "You're late," he murmured, low enough that only I heard. "You, Xavier, why are you here?" I whispered fiercely. He looked around us slowly, like studying prey and territory at the same time. "I wanted to see where you spend your days," he said, "and maybe intimidate anyone who thinks they can stare at you that long." His eyes flicked to a boy who quickly looked away. "Are you insane?" I hissed. "Probably." "Xavier, this is a university, not your forest. I'm aware. The scents here are horrible. Everything smells processed." He made a disgusted face at a vending machine. Someone nearby snorted. Someone else whispered, "He's so hot." Xavier's eyes snapped into that direction. The girl squeaked and hid behind a tree. "Oh, gods." "Xavier," I warned, "you cannot scare students." "I don't have to scare them," he said calmly. "I just have to stand here." He wasn't wrong. The entire courtyard was staring. I grabbed his wrist and dragged him toward a bench between 2 buildings. He let me. Of course he let me. But he made sure every step announced, "I'm dangerous. Look again, if you dare." When we sat, he leaned back, man-spreading like the king he believed he was. "Why are you really here?" I muttered. He tilted his head, eyes softening just a fraction. "You didn't call last night," he said quietly, "and the mark burned, so I came." My heart squeezed painfully. That's not a good reason. It's the only reason. I swallowed. "Okay," I whispered, "but you can't keep doing this. The girls are staring like they saw Jesus." "They aren't staring at me," he said simply. "They're staring at whoever gets to touch me." I slapped his arm. "Shut up! Make me!" I glared so hard he smirked. Then my professor walked by, paused, stared at Xavier's broad chest, then at me and said, "Myriam, who is this?" I opened my mouth, but Xavier answered first, smooth, deep. "I'm her problem." The professor blinked, twice, then walked away. I dropped my face into my hands. "You're impossible." Xavier leaned in close enough that his breath warmed the shell of my ear. "No, little one," he murmured. "I'm yours." And just like that, my entire day was ruined. And perfect. By the time afternoon class ended, Xavier had already made himself known as the mysterious, gorgeous, terrifying man who kept following me around campus. Great. Perfect. Exactly the kind of attention a girl with a supernatural bite on her neck needed. I stepped out of the building and exhaled, rubbing the back of my neck where the mark had been pulsing. softly all morning, like a heartbeat under my skin. It wasn't painful, just aware, too aware. And then the air shifted. It was subtle at first. A scent. Not human, not Xavier. Something wild, sharp, old. My spine stiffened. The courtyard buzzed with students leaving class, but none of them noticed anything strange. They just walked, laughed, argued about deadlines. Meanwhile, my heartbeat sped up. I took another step, and the scent slithered past me again. A prickle ran down my arms. I whipped around, searching for Xavier, even though he'd gone back to his hotel after making sure I ate a real lunch like a civilized creature. He wasn't here. Of course he wasn't here. Okay, I whispered. Relax. You're imagining things. Overthinking. Stress. Exams. Coffee withdrawals. Then I saw it. Across the courtyard, beside the fountain man. Ordinary clothing. Ordinary posture. But he was staring at me with eyes that were too pale to be human. A chill rolled over me. My body knew before my mind did. Wolf. My stomach dropped. Turkey wasn't supposed to have werewolves. At least not in this part of the country. At least not here. At least not following me. The man didn't move. He didn't blink. He just inhaled deeply, like he was taking in my scent. I froze. Students kept walking past him, completely oblivious. My throat tightened. Okay, think. Walk. Just walk. I turned and headed toward the bus stop, not fast enough to draw attention, but not slow enough to look relaxed. The scent followed, closer. My palms grew slick. I reached into my bag, pretending to check for my phone, but really looking for something, anything, that could act as a weapon. A pen, a pair of keys, a textbook heavy enough to break a skull. Myriam. I stopped breathing. That voice deep dark, threaded with a growl, slid right under my skin. I whipped around. Xavier stood behind me. Except, not the Xavier from the campus earlier. This was a different version, jaw clenched, chest heaving, eyes glowing bright gold. His wolf was right under the surface. Xavier, get behind me, he snarled, already stepping forward. The pale-eyed man was still across the courtyard. But he wasn't staring at me anymore. He was staring at Xavier. And he smiled. A slow, taunting smile that made my blood run cold. Xavier's entire body tightened like a bowstring being pulled back to its breaking point. You feel that? He growled without looking at me. Yes, I whispered, stepping behind him instinctively. Who is that? He didn't answer. Because the moment the words left my mouth, the strange man turned and vanished into the crowd. Not walked, not ran, vanished, like mist pulled into the wind. Xavier's growl shook the air. He spun, grabbed my shoulders, eyes fierce and wild. You're not going anywhere alone again, he said, every word a snarl. You hear me? Not one damn step. Xavier, no. He leaned in, forehead almost touching mine, breath ragged. That thing was tracking you, not me, you. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. The bite on my neck throbbed, once, twice, burning under my skin. Xavier's hands tightened on me. Myriam, he whispered, voice shaking with something I'd never heard before. Fear. That was a wolf, he said, in Turkey, and he was scenting you. A beat of silence. Then the mark burned again, hot, violent. Xavier's jaw locked. This is the first crack, he growled, and whoever that washi knows what you are now. My breath caught. What does that mean? Xavier looked straight into my eyes, and for the first time since I met him, his voice broke. It means, Myriam, danger just found us. I didn't remember walking back to his hotel. I didn't remember unlocking the door or stepping inside. All I remembered was Xavier's hand wrapped around my wrist the entire way tight, warm, shaking with barely controlled rage. The moment the door shut behind us, he let go of me so fast it felt like he was afraid of breaking me, or himself. He paced the room, back and forth, like a caged beast on the edge of ripping the walls apart. His wolf was right there, breathing through him, vibrating under his skin, bleeding through his eyes. "Xavier, don't," he growled. One word, sharp enough to cut. I swallowed hard. My neck pulsed. A slow burn, a whisper of heat that crawled downward through my chest, my spine, my stomach. Lower. He kept pacing. "You have no idea how close I came to tearing that courtyard apart," he said, voice low, rough. "One wrong move and I would have shifted in front of the entire university." "You didn't," I said gently. He stopped. His chest rose and fell fast like he'd been running. Then his eyes, golden and fierce, locked on me. "You were scared," he said. "I was..." For the first time, he cut in, taking a step toward me. "You were scared, and I wasn't there. That's not your fault." "The hell it isn't." The room felt smaller suddenly, hotter. His scent wrapped around me. Storm, pine, something wild. He approached slowly. Each step pulled something deep inside me tighter. Lower, hotter. "Myriam," he said quietly, dangerously. "Come here." I didn't even think. My feet moved on their own. I stopped in front of him, my head tilted back to look up at him, his breath brushing my lips. His hand lifted, slow, deliberate, and slid around my waist, pulling me right against him. The heat of his body hit me like a wave. Everything between us pulsed, my pulse, his pulse, the damn mark on my neck. He lowered his head slightly. "You feel that?" he whispered. "Yes, that's the bond." His nose brushed my jaw, my cheek, my throat. A shiver shot down my spine so violently I grabbed his shirt. "Myriam." His voice cracked. "Every time your mark burns, mine does too. It pulls me, it drags me, it demands you." I sucked in a breath as he nipped lightly at the edge of the bite. My knees buckled. He caught me instantly, one hand under my thigh, dragging me up against him, and then he froze. His entire body went rigid. I blinked up at him, breathless. "Xavier?" His jaw clenched so hard the muscle jumped. "I can't," he rasped. Cold hit my stomach. "What?" He let out a shaky exhale and gently set me back on my feet, though his hands didn't let me go. "I want you," he said, voice low, raw. "More than I've ever wanted anything, but not like this." Heat rose to my face. "Like what? Like I'm losing control." I stepped back, crossing my arms before the embarrassment killed me. "So you're saying I'm not worth the risk?" His head snapped up, eyes blazing. "That's not what I said." "Sure feels like it." He growled, actually growled, and stalked toward me until my back hit the wall. "You think I don't want you?" he hissed. "I almost marked you again right there in the courtyard. I almost claimed you in public like a feral bastard. Then why stop now?" His forehead pressed to mine. "Because if I take you now, it won't be gentle," he whispered. "It won't be slow. It won't be controlled." My breath hitched. "It'll be claiming," he continued, voice barely audible. "Bond deep, forever, no going back." My heart thudded so hard I felt it in my throat. "And you're not ready for that," he said softly. "Not while you're scared, not while you're confused, not after what just happened." The air between us trembled. I hated that he was right. I hated that he knew it. I hated that my body still wanted him even as he pulled away. So I shoved him, hard. He didn't move an inch, but his eyebrow lifted like I'd just challenged a hurricane. "Oh," he murmured. "You're angry now." "No," I snapped. "I'm furious." "Good." His lips brushed my cheek, slow and maddening. "Use it." My anger flared at that quiet commander, the way he always seemed to know exactly how to unravel me. I pushed him again. "Stop talking like you know everything. His hand slid along my jaw, turning my face toward his. "I do know one thing," he whispered. "You burn for me." "I don't—" "Yes," he growled, lips barely touching mine. "You do." I should have slapped him. Should have walked out. But the mark on my neck pulsed again, hot, demanding, and suddenly the room felt like it was spinning. The heat built, curling low in my belly, spreading through my chest, my throat. My skin. Xavier felt it too. His eyes widened, his breath stilled. "Oh, hell," he whispered. "Your mark just triggered." My vision blurred. Heat, too much heat, rushed through me. I gasped, grabbing his shirt, nails digging in. "Myriam!" "Xavier, it hurts." He caught me before I collapsed. His arms wrapped around me, strong, protective, desperate. "Easy," he murmured, voice trembling. "Breathe. I've got you. You're okay. I'm right here, sweetheart. Right here." The burning crawled up my neck, down my spine, through my hips. He lifted me effortlessly, carrying me to the bed, lowering me onto the sheets as my body trembled. His hand cupped my cheek. "Myriam," his voice was breaking. "Your bond is awakening." I swallowed, breath shaky. "What does that mean?" "It means," he whispered, eyes darkening, "your body is calling for mine." My heartbeat stuttered, and then stopped completely when he added, "And if this continues, I won't be able to stop next time." Xavier's breath was still warm on my skin, that maddening mix of restraint and desire he kept trying, and failing, to hide. The room felt too small for both our heartbeats, too charged for the way he kept staring at me like he was memorizing every inch. His fingers brushed my jaw, slow, testing, like he expected me to pull back. But I didn't. I tilted my head up, chest rising, pulse racing, and said exactly what my stupid, tingling, bond-marked heart wanted to say. "If this is how I'm going to be around you all the time." I swallowed, feeling the truth settle deep inside me. "Then let's do it. I'm ready for you." His eyes snapped to mine, sharp, dark, and unbelieving. "Oh, sweetheart," he murmured, voice dropping to that sinful growl he tried so hard to hide. "You're talking straight out of adrenaline." He tried to lean back, tried to be the responsible alpha who didn't take advantage of my shaking breath or the way my thighs pressed together. I didn't let him. I grabbed the collar of his shirt and yanked him down with every ounce of nerve I had left. And then I crashed my mouth against his. There was no hesitation, not from me, not from him. Xavier groaned into the kiss, hands flying to my waist, gripping like he finally let himself touch what he'd wanted since Canada. His lips moved against mine with a hunger that stole my breath, devoured it, replaced it with his. The kiss wasn't gentle. It wasn't sweet. It was a claim, a challenge, a confession neither of us had said out loud. I melted into his kiss, letting him take control, letting him lead. His tongue slid over mine, tasting me, claiming me. My body arched into his, feeling every inch of him through our clothes. Xavier made a sound in his throat, a growl of pure want, and suddenly he was lifting me up, pressing me against the wall. My legs instinctively wrapped around his waist as he held me up with ease. His lips never left mine as he carried me to the bed, gently laying me down. He pulled back just enough to look down at me, eyes dark and burning with need. I could feel the heat radiating off his body, see the way his chest was heaving with each breath. Slowly, carefully, he began to undo the buttons of my shirt, revealing more and more skin. His fingertips brushed over my collarbone, making me shiver. Once he had my shirt fully unbuttoned, he slid it off my shoulders, leaving me in just my bra. His gaze travelled down my body hungrily, lingering on the swell of my breasts. He leaned down, kissing along my neck, my shoulder, tasting my skin. I gasped as he nipped at my collarbone, his teeth grazing over the mark he'd given me. His hands slid down my sides, over my hips, gripping them possessively. I could feel the calluses on his palms, rough and yet so gentle as he touched me. His lips trailed lower, kissing along the edge of my bra before pulling the cup down to expose one of my breasts. "Beautiful," he breathed, voice rough with want. He cupped my breast, thumb brushing over my nipple until it pebbled under his touch. Then his mouth was there, hot and wet, sucking and licking until I was writhing beneath him. "Xavier," I gasped, hands flying to his shoulders. I could feel the power in them, the strength it took for him to hold himself up, not crushing me with his weight. It made me feel so small and delicate beneath him. His lips moved down further, pressing kisses along my stomach, as his hands pushed my skirt up around my waist. He hooked his fingers into my panties and slid them down my legs, leaving me bare before him. I felt so exposed, so vulnerable, but the way he looked at me made it worth it, like I was something precious, something to be cherished and protected. "May I taste you?" he asked, voice low and rough with desire. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. He slid down my body until he was between my thighs. His hands gripped my hips, holding me in place as he leaned in, his breath hot against my most intimate part. Then his tongue was there, licking a slow, tortuous stripe up my center. I cried out at the sensation, back arching off the bed. He groaned against me, the vibrations making me shiver. His tongue delved deeper, exploring every inch of me, tasting me like he was starving for it. He sucked at my clit, his tongue flicking over it until I was trembling and gasping for air. One hand released my hip to slide up my body, cupping my breast and rolling the nipple between his fingers. I could feel my orgasm building, coiling tight in my stomach. My hands flew to his hair, gripping it tightly as I held him to me, not wanting him to stop. He growled against me, the sound sending a shock of pleasure through me. "Xavier," I gasped. "I'm close. Please." He looked up at me then, eyes dark and wild with desire. "Then let go," he murmured, voice rough. "Come for me, sweetheart. Let me taste you." He went back to work with renewed fervour, tongue and fingers working in tandem to bring me closer and closer to the edge. And then suddenly I was falling over it, coming undone with a cry of his name. Pleasure crashed over me in waves, making my toes curl and my body shudder. Xavier growled in satisfaction, continuing to lick and suck at me through my release until I was too sensitive to take any more. Then he was moving back up my body, kissing along my skin until he reached my mouth. I could taste myself on him, and it made something deep inside me twist with desire. I kissed him fiercely, uncaring of the taste. He groaned into my mouth, one hand cupping my face while the other slid down my body to palm me between my thighs. I could feel how hard he was, his cock straining against his jeans. He rolled his hips into mine with a groan, the friction delicious even through the barrier of clothing. "Xavier," I gasped, breaking the kiss. "Please, I need you." He made a sound in his throat, a mix of a growl and a groan. "Are you sure?" he asked, voice strained. "We don't have to do this now." I nodded fiercely. "Yes, please, I want you." He stared down at me for a long moment before nodding. "Okay," he breathed. "Okay. But we'll go slow. I won't hurt you." I smiled up at him, cupping his cheek. "I trust you." He leaned into my touch, nuzzling his nose against my palm. Then he was moving off of me, standing up and quickly undoing his jeans. He shoved them down along with his boxers, freeing his hard length. My breath caught at the sight of him, thick and long and perfect. He wrapped a hand around himself, stroking slowly as he watched me watch him. "See what you do to me?" he murmured. I nodded, feeling a rush of power at the effect I had on him. He crawled back onto the bed, settling himself between my thighs. I could feel the heat of him, the hard length of his cock pressing against my stomach. He kissed me again, slow and sweet this time. His hand slid down my body, teasing me until I was squirming against him. Then he notched the head of his cock against my entrance, rubbing it up and down to coat himself in my arousal. I whimpered at the sensation, tilting my hips up in invitation. he growled in response, nipping at my bottom lip before slowly pushing forward. I gasped as he entered me, stretching me in a way I'd never been stretched before. It hurt, but it wasn't an unpleasant pain, the kind of hurt that makes your nerves sing and your heart race. He paused once he was fully sheathed inside me, letting me adjust to the feeling of him filling me up. He pressed kisses along my face as he held still, hands roaming over my body like he was trying to memorize every inch of me. "Okay?" he asked after a long moment, voice strained with the effort of holding himself back. I nodded, wrapping my legs around his waist to pull him closer. "Yes," I breathed. "More." He groaned at that, head dropping to my shoulder as he began to move. He started slow, pulling out until just the tip remained before sliding back in. Each thrust pushed me up the bed until I was almost flat against the headboard. I clung to him, nails digging into his shoulders as he pistoned into me with increasing force and speed. The pain was gone now, replaced by a pleasure so intense it bordered on overwhelming. "Fuck," he growled, hips snapping forward with a force that made me cry out. "You feel... Gods, you feel perfect. So tight and hot and... mine." I could only gasp out his name as he picked up the pace, losing himself inside me. I felt my orgasm building again, coiling low in my stomach like a living thing. "Come for me," he demanded, voice rough and demanding as he pounded into me with abandon. "Let me feel you." He slid a hand between us, thumb pressing against my clit as he continued to thrust into me. It was too much, too good, the combination of his cock filling me and his fingers rubbing me just right. I came with a scream of his name, body convulsing around him as pleasure exploded through me. He growled in response, hips stuttering as he followed me over the edge with a hoarse shout. We collapsed together in a sweaty tangle of limbs, hearts racing as we tried to catch our breath. Xavier's forehead rested against mine, his lips brushing my damp brow in a tender kiss. "That was," he panted, struggling for words. "Amazing," I finished for him with a breathless smile. He grinned, looking very pleased with himself. "Not bad for a first-timer." I smacked his chest half-heartedly. "Don't get cocky." "I wouldn't dream of it." His eyes softened as he brushed a strand of hair off my face. "Are you okay? I didn't hurt you?" I shook my head, warmth spreading through me at his gentle concern. "No," I murmured. "That was incredible." His grin turned wolfish. "Just wait until round 2. I laughed, a giddy little sound I hadn't made in ages, and as he rolled onto his back, pulling me into his arms to settle against his chest, I knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning. With Xavier by my side, every day would be an adventure.
She fell asleep on my chest. That was the first thing that hit me. Not the heat of her body, not the way her breath brushed my skin, but the goddamn trust in it. In the dim light of that hotel room with the sounds of Istanbul humming through the window, I watched her fingers curl against my ribs like she belonged there. Like leaving Canada hadn't changed a damn thing between us. And hell, it hadn't. I brushed my thumb along her shoulder, the same shoulder I'd kissed until she trembled earlier. The bond hummed against my lips, warm and alive, like it was finally satisfied I'd stopped running. I wasn't sure when sleep found me, only that I woke up before dawn with her still wrapped around me like I'd been created to hold her. She blinked up at me, groggy and beautiful. "Morning," she murmured. "God help me. Morning, sweetheart." My voice came out low, rough, the kind of rough that meant I'd been thinking about her all damn night. I kissed her forehead, then her cheek, then the side of her neck. Slow, lingering, almost dangerous. She shivered and I smirked. "Stop," she breathed, already blushing. "Why?" I murmured against her skin. "You're the one making those little sounds." Her hand smacked my chest, weak, adorable. "Xavier." "Yeah?" I teased. She rolled her eyes, cheeks hot, and I swear I could have kissed her stupid for it. But she pulled away, sitting up, tugging the sheet around herself like it could hide the way she was still glowing. We should get moving, I have class. Right, reality. The world outside this room. I stood, stretching, grabbing my shirt from the floor. Her eyes flicked over me, then away, then back again before she caught herself. I bit back a grin. Sweetheart, I drawled, if you keep staring like that, I'm dragging you right back into bed. She squeaked out a stop, grabbed her clothes, and practically fled to the bathroom. I laughed, actually laughed, and damn, it felt good. By noon, I was sitting in a cafe near her university, nursing a Turkish coffee that could probably revive a corpse. I'd followed her all morning, not in a suffocating way, but in the "you're mine and I want to see the world you live in" way. The streets were loud, chaotic, alive, different from Canada, but familiar to her. I liked that. From where I sat, I watched the dorm building across the road, the one she insisted on staying in alone. Part of me hated it, the other part respected it. She was stubborn, bold, mine. I checked my phone. Her last message: "Don't come inside the campus, I'll be done soon." Which was adorable because guess where I was headed? Yup, right inside. The moment I stepped onto campus, heads turned, girls whispered, guys stared like they couldn't decide if they should be intimidated or impressed. I scanned the courtyard until I found her. She was laughing with a classmate, hair in the wind, that little spark in her eyes that made my chest tighten. Then her gaze landed on me. She froze. Her friend followed her stare, then took 3 steps back like I'd growled at him. She marched straight toward me, whisper shouting, "Xavier, what are you doing here?" I let my eyes trail slowly, deliberately, from her head to her shoes. Dangerous, possessive, hungry. Her breath hitched in that way I liked way too much. "I came to pick you up," I said simply. "Well, you can't just show up." I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "Honey, do you really think there's anywhere in this city I wouldn't come for you?" Her lips parted. No words, just fire. "That's not the point," she whispered. "It's exactly the point." I tipped her chin up with one finger, gentle but firm enough that she felt it. "Now let's go," I murmured. "You said you'd show me your favorite places, and I'm not waiting another damn day." She hesitated, torn between pride and desire. Then she sighed, defeated and flustered, and mine. "Fine," she muttered. "But don't be like this." I smirked. "Like what?" "Like," she gestured vaguely at my entire existence. "Like that." "Too late," I said, leaning in. "When it comes to you, Mimi, this is the only version of me you're getting." Her heart stuttered. I heard it. She hated that I heard it. "Come on," she said, cheeks warm. "Let's go." And she walked ahead. I followed, hands in pockets, eyes locked on her like she was the only thing worth looking at in the entire damn city. The moment we stepped out of the university gates, she relaxed, just a little. I saw it in the way her shoulders loosened, the way her fingers brushed the strap of her bag like she was shaking off the last bit of classroom energy. "Where are you taking me first?" I asked, falling into step beside her. She shot me a look, half warning, half blush. "Don't start." "Start what?" I leaned in, voice low and teasing. "Breathing, walking, existing too close to you?" "Exactly," she muttered. I laughed under my breath and let her lead. She didn't grab my hand, too shy for that in public, but the way her arm brushed mine every few steps. Yeah, she felt it. She took me through busy streets, weaving between crowds with the ease of someone who belonged here. And even though the city was loud and chaotic, my focus stayed on her. Always her. She stopped in front of a tiny cafe on a side street. "This is the place," she said. "They make real Turkish menemen, not the tourist version." I raised a brow. "Real, huh? You sure you can handle the real stuff?" She rolled her eyes. "You're not funny. I'm hilarious, you just don't want to admit it." She opened the door before she could laugh, but I saw it. The smile she tried to hide. Inside, the warm smell of spices hit me instantly. Tomato, pepper, egg. It smelled like comfort and trouble at the same time. We sat across from each other, the table small enough that her knee brushed mine every time she shifted. "You're staring," she said. "I know." She glared, cheeks flushing. "Stop. No." She looked away, but the corner of her mouth curved up, soft, shy, and devastating. The food arrived, steaming and bright. I picked up a piece of bread, scooped a bit of the menemen, and took a bite. Spicy, warm, a kick of pepper. Not bad. She watched my reaction like it was a life or death test. "Well?" she demanded. I dragged it out, watching her squirm. "It's good. Just good." "Sweetheart," I said slowly, "you brought me to a cafe with chairs older than my passport and a chef who looks like he'd yell at me if I sneezed near his stove. I didn't expect Michelin stars." Her mouth fell open. "Xavier," I smirked. "But," I leaned in, lowering my voice, "I like it, because you like it." That shut her up real fast. She didn't look at me, just stabbed another piece of bread like it personally offended her. After eating, she took me through the bazaar, color everywhere, spices stacked high, vendors shouting over each other. She lit up there, talking, showing me things, explaining things I pretended I didn't already know just to hear her voice. At one stall, the old vendor winked at her and said something in Turkish. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the tone. I stepped closer, very close. Her eyes widened. "Xavier." "Translation," I said quietly. "Now." She swallowed. "He said you look strong, and that we make a nice couple." I tilted my head. "And which part of that made you blush?" "None," she lied. I smirked. "Sure." We walked again, drifting into quieter streets until she stopped abruptly. "This is where I wanted to bring you last." I followed her gaze. A small hill, a lookout point, nothing fancy, but the view. It was the whole city spread beneath us, domes, rooftops, water, sky. She stepped forward, letting the breeze lift her hair. "It's my favorite place," she whispered. "When I feel overwhelmed, I come here." I stared at her, not the view. "You should have told me sooner," I murmured. She turned. "Told you what?" "That you had a place like this." I stepped closer, voice dropping. "I would have come find you every time you stood here alone." Her breath hitched. "Xavier." I touched her cheek, gentle, caressing, but claiming all the same. "You don't have to be alone anymore," I said quietly. "Not here, not in this city, not anywhere." Her eyes softened, melted like the world finally made sense again. Then she whispered, "So, does that mean I can take you on another date tomorrow?" I gave a low chuckle. "You call this a date?" "Well, yeah." "Honey," I said, stepping behind her and wrapping my arms around her waist. "You could take me to a grocery store and it'd be a damn date." She laughed, a sound I felt in my chest. For a long moment we just stood there overlooking the city. Her back pressed to my chest, my chin resting against her shoulder, her heartbeat steadying under my hands. She was warm against me, her back pressed to my chest as the city lights glittered below. The breeze pulled at her hair, brushing it across my jaw, and for a moment I forgot everything except the feel of her. I turned her around slowly, my hands sliding down her waist until she was facing me. Those eyes, wide and soft, searching mine like she wasn't sure she deserved the way I looked at her. I tilted her chin up with one finger. "Get your things," I murmured. "You're staying with me." Her lips parted. "Xavier." "Not in the dorm," I continued. "Not alone. Come to the hotel with me. Or hell, I'll rent a place, buy a damn house, whatever you want. But you're not sleeping anywhere I can't reach you." She blinked, stunned, breath catching. "You really changed, Xavier." "Changed?" I echoed, brushing my thumb over her cheek. "How?" "It's like you're a whole new version of the old you," she whispered. "Softer, warmer, more open." I cupped her face with both hands, pulling her closer until our foreheads touched. "That's because you freed me," I murmured, "from the dark tunnel I've been stuck in for years." Her breath hitched, fingers curling into my shirt like she needed to hold on to something solid. I slid my hand to the back of her neck, keeping her close. "So," I said, voice low, almost a growl, "will you stay with me?" She swallowed hard. "Xavier. Not only because I don't want to spend another minute without you in my arms," I added, brushing my lips along her temple, "but also because of that damn wolf hanging around campus." Her head snapped up. "He wasn't hanging around." "Oh, please." I narrowed my eyes. "He looked at you like he wanted to drag you off somewhere. I should have ripped his nose off." She laughed, soft, startled. "You're being dramatic." "No," I said, tightening my grip on her waist. "I'm being honest." Before she could respond, a sharp ringing cut through the air. Her phone. She pulled it out, frowning. "It's my roommate, Elif." I felt her body tense before she even answered. She put the phone to her ear. "Elif." Silence. Then her face drained of color. Completely. "Mimi?" I asked, stepping closer. "What happened?" She swallowed, voice barely a whisper. "There was a break-in. The taxi couldn't come fast enough." She clutched her phone with both hands, knuckles white, breath uneven, eyes fixed on the road ahead like she was scared reality would change if she blinked. When we reached the dorm gates, blue lights flashed against the buildings. Police cars, officers everywhere. Students whispering behind their hands. Her breath stuttered. "Mimi, stay close," I murmured. She nodded once, small and shaky. We stepped inside the building. And the moment I crossed the threshold, a scent hit me. Sharp, rancid, wolf. My entire body went rigid. Not just any wolf. The same one from the university. The one who looked at her like she was prey. Like he was making plans. My jaw locked. My wolf rose up, snarling inside me. He'd been here. Police officers filled the living area, talking rapidly in Turkish. One of them gave me a hard look like he was trying to figure out what a tall foreign guy was doing in a girl's dorm. He said something sharp in Turkish. I stared at him, unblinking. Myriam tugged my sleeve. "Come on, let's go to my room." "No," I said, voice low. "Get your belongings, you're not sleeping here." She swallowed, then nodded and slipped down the hall. I stepped forward. The officer repeated himself, tone harder. He was sizing me up and failing. He had no idea the kind of animal staring back at him. Elif, the tiny, nervous girl with the bright scarf, stepped up fast. He's saying, "Why you here?" She translated in broken English. I didn't break eye contact with the officer. "Tell him I'm taking my girlfriend somewhere safe," Elif translated, her voice trembling. The officer said something curt in return. "What did he say?" I demanded. Elif swallowed. He say, "All right then." My eyes narrowed. Good. At least they weren't complete idiots. They started packing up their things, slowly filing out. The last officer gave me a cautious glance before leaving through the stairwell. As soon as the door closed behind them, Myriam stepped out of her room, suitcase in one hand, bag slung over her shoulder, eyes still a little wide but steadying, strong, brave mine. She hugged Aleph tightly. "I'll see you on Thursday at campus, okay?" she said softly. "Be careful." Aleph nodded hard. "You too, girl." I reached for the suitcase before she could lift it. "I got it," I told her. Her eyes flicked up to mine. Gratitude, relief, trust, and something deep in me settled. She wasn't staying here another damn night. We walked outside. The air was cold. Her hand brushed mine. She didn't hold on, but she stayed close. The taxi pulled up. I opened the door for her, helped her in, set the suitcase in the trunk, then slid beside her. The driver said something in Turkish as he pulled off. She translated softly. He asked where we're going. I gave the address of the hotel. The driver nodded, merging into traffic, lights rushing past the windows. And while the city blurred around us, I kept my gaze locked on her, because tonight she wasn't going back to that dorm. And tomorrow I was hunting the wolf who thought he could come for her. The taxi ride felt too damn slow. Every stoplight, every turn. Every second she trembled beside me, trying to hide it, trying to look strong, just made the fire in my chest burn hotter. I didn't take my eyes off her, not once. By the time we reached the hotel, I was hanging by a thread. I paid the driver, took her suitcase, and guided her inside with my hand at the small of her back, gentle for her, lethal for anyone watching. The elevator doors slid open and she stepped in first. I followed, and the moment they closed, silence. Breathing. Tension so thick it tasted like smoke. She stood on the opposite side, but her eyes kept darting to me like she couldn't help herself. "Come here," I said quietly. She hesitated, 1 second, 2, and then she crossed the space, stopping right in front of me. "Xavier," she whispered. My hand lifted on instinct, cupping her jaw, thumb brushing that soft spot under her cheek. I lowered my head just enough that she felt my breath against her lips. "You scared me today," I murmured. Her brows lifted. "Scared you?" I leaned in closer, so close she had to tilt her head back. "Yes," I said. "Because someone walked into your space, someone who wasn't me." She swallowed, throat bobbing. "And you think he came for me?" "I know he did." Her breath hitched. The elevator dinged. My hand slid down to her waist as the doors opened. "Come on," I whispered. I led her down the hall, unlocked my room, and pushed the door open. Soft lighting, warm air. A space that instantly felt like a shield around her. I set her suitcase down gently. She stood in the middle of the room, looking small and brave and so damn beautiful it hurt. She turned slowly toward me. "Xavier, what now?" I stepped toward her. One slow step, then another, until I was right in front of her again. "What now?" I echoed, lowering my voice. "Now I keep you close." Her breath trembled. I took another step forward, backing her up against the wall. My hands found her waist, sliding around to grip her hips and pull her flush against me. She gasped, fingers flying to my shoulders. "Xavier." "Shh," I murmured, nuzzling into her neck. "Let me take care of you." My lips trailed up her throat, tasting her skin, feeling her pulse jump beneath my tongue. She smelled like jasmine and worry and something uniquely her. I wanted to erase that last scent. Wanted to replace it with something else entirely. My hand slid down to cup her ass, lifting her up. Her legs wrapped around my waist automatically, a soft moan escaping her as she felt how hard I was already. "Bed," I growled against her jaw. She nodded, breathless, and I carried her to the bed, setting her down gently. I stepped back just enough to strip off my shirt, tossing it aside carelessly. Her eyes widened as they raked over my chest, my abs, the trail of dark hair leading down to my jeans. I could see the desire burning in those deep brown depths, and it made my cock twitch in anticipation. I reached for her next, pulling off her top and unclasping her bra with quick, efficient movements. Her breasts spilled out, full and perfect, nipples pebbled in the cool air. I groaned at the sight, my mouth watering. "Fuck," I breathed, palming her breasts, thumbs teasing her nipples. "You're so goddamn beautiful." She arched into my touch, back bowing off the bed. "Xavier, please." I smirked, ducking my head to take one nipple into my mouth. I sucked hard, flicking my tongue over the sensitive peak until she was writhing beneath me, hands fisting in my hair. When I released her nipple with a wet pop, she whimpered, hips rolling up to grind against my straining erection. "Patience, baby," I murmured, kissing my way down her stomach. "I'm gonna take my time with you." I hooked my fingers into the waistband of her jeans, tugging down her legs along with her panties. She lifted her hips to help me, kicking the denim off impatiently. Then she was bare before me, glistening, flushed, so fucking perfect I almost couldn't breathe. "Xavier," she whimpered, "I need you, please." I groaned, pressing an open-mouthed kiss to her inner thigh. "I know, sweetheart, I'm gonna give you exactly what you need." I settled between her legs, inhaling deeply. The scent of her arousal hit me like a punch to the gut, making my cock throb painfully behind my zipper. "Fuck," I growled. "You smell so good, taste even better." And with that I leaned in and dragged my tongue through her folds in one long, slow lick. She cried out, back arching off the bed, fingers scrabbling for purchase in the sheets. I groaned at her flavor, lapping at her entrance like a starving man. My hands slid up her thighs, pushing them wider as I feasted on her pussy. "Oh God," she keened. "Xavier, yes, right there, don't stop." I focused on her clit then, circling the sensitive nub with the tip of my tongue before sucking it into my mouth. She came undone with a sharp cry of my name, hips bucking against my face as she rode out her orgasm on my tongue. I lapped at her through it, helping her down from the high until she was boneless beneath me, panting harshly. "Xavier," she whispered, voice wrecked. "That was you. Wow." I smirked, kissing my way back up her body. "Not bad for an old guy, huh?" She laughed breathlessly, wrapping her arms around my neck. "You're not old. Keep telling yourself that." She shook her head, grinning up at me. Then her smile softened, eyes warming with something deeper. "Thank you," she murmured, "for everything, for being here." My chest tightened. "Always," I promised. "I'll always be here for you." I captured her mouth in a deep kiss, letting her taste herself on my tongue. She moaned softly, kissing me back with a desperate hunger that matched my own. When I finally pulled away, we were both breathing hard, hearts racing in sync. "Need you inside me," she whispered, gaze locked on mine. "Now." I groaned, grinding my aching cock against her hip. "Panties on fire, baby?" She nodded frantically. "So bad, please." I reached down to undo my jeans, shoving them down just enough to free my cock. It slapped against my stomach hard and leaking at the tip. "Fuck," I breathed, wrapping a hand around my length and giving it a slow stroke. She whimpered, eyes glued to my cock like it was the most fascinating thing she'd ever seen. I pumped myself a few more times, spreading the bead of pre-cum at the tip before bringing my hand to her mouth. "Taste," I murmured. Her lips parted instantly, tongue darting out to lick my thumb clean. I groaned at the sight, the feel of her wet heat enveloping my finger. Dirty girl, I growled approvingly. Gonna suck my cock later, but right now. I notched the head of my cock at her entrance, pausing to look down at her. Brace yourself, sweetheart, I warned. I'm gonna ruin you for any other man. And with that I thrust forward, burying myself to the hilt in one smooth stroke. She cried out my name like a prayer as her walls stretched around me, so tight and hot I saw stars. I paused for just a moment, letting her adjust to the intrusion. The room filled with the sounds of our bodies slapping together, skin on skin, sweat on sweat. The bed creaked beneath us, headboard slamming against the wall with the force of my thrusts. Fuck, I growled, angling my hips to hit that spot deep inside her that made her see stars. Take it. Take my cock. Gonna fill this sweet pussy up. She sobbed my name, nails raking down my back as she came apart beneath me. Her inner walls clamped down around my length like a vice, trying to milk my orgasm from me. I wasn't ready to end this yet, though. I wanted to feel her come on my cock again, wanted to watch her fall apart over and over until she was completely wrecked. So I kept moving, kept fucking up into her with deep, powerful strokes. Her breasts bounced with every thrust, nipples raw from the friction against my chest. Come on my cock, I demanded, reaching between our sweat-slicked bodies to circle her clit with my thumb. One more time, wanna feel you squeeze me dry. She whimpered brokenly, hips stuttering as I rubbed that sensitive bundle of nerves. Can't too much, Xavier. You can, I insisted, pinching her clit sharply. Do it, come for me again. Her back bowed off the bed, head thrown back as she screamed my name. Her pussy spasmed around me, inner muscles fluttering wildly as another orgasm crashed through her. The sight, the feel of her coming undone again was too much. With a feral growl, I slammed into her one last time and stilled, buried to the hilt as my cock twitched and pulsed, spilling hot jets of cum deep inside her. We collapsed together then, chests heaving, limbs tangled. I pressed soft kisses to her face as we came down from our highs, her forehead, her cheeks, the corner of her mouth. You okay? I murmured, voice rough with sated pleasure. She nodded weakly, a lazy smile curving her lips. More than okay. I chuckled, rolling onto my side and gathering her close. Good, because we're just getting started. Her eyes widened. Really? Again? I smirked wolfishly. Oh yeah, you're not leaving this bed for hours. She laughed breathlessly, snuggling into my chest. Bossy. Determined, I corrected. To make sure you never forget who you belong to. She sighed contentedly, fingers tracing patterns on my skin. Like I could ever forget. I closed my eyes, feeling something warm and soft bloom in my chest. She was right. There was no forgetting this. No going back to how things were before, because now she was mine.
I woke up to warmth. Soft sheets. Faint sunlight slipping past the curtains, and that lingering soreness low in my stomach that made my whole face heat. I stretched, smiling to myself. Then my hand reached instinctively to the side, to his side, to the space he filled last night. Empty and cold. My smile faltered as my eyes opened fully. The bed was messy, sheets kicked off, the imprint of his body still there. But he wasn't. I sat up slowly, wincing a little at the ache between my legs. God, 2 more rounds, back to back, like he had to make up for every second he'd ever missed with me. A laugh slipped out of me, low, breathless, shocked at myself. Do all werewolf alphas get this obsessed with fucking? I muttered under my breath. Or is it just him trying to catch up for lost time? My face burned hotter. I pushed the covers away and headed to the bathroom. The shower was warm, washing away the sweat, the heat, the memories of him pinning me down and whispering filth that still echoed in my bones. When I came out, towel, then clothes, he was still gone. No note. No message. Nothing. A little worry crawled into my chest. Where would he go without telling me? I grabbed my phone from the nightstand to call him, but before my thumb could hit his name, the screen lit up. Elif. I answered immediately. Morning, Elif. Morning, girl, she breathed, sounding like she'd been running. Listen, someone is asking for you. My heart stuttered. Someone? What do you mean, someone? He's outside, at the dorm house. He asked for you by name. I sat down on the edge of the bed, pulse thundering. What? Who is he? I don't know, Elif whispered. He didn't tell me anything. He just said he wants to talk to you. I swallowed hard. He's at the dorm? Yes. Silence pressed between us. Then I inhaled sharply. Elif, take a picture, a secret one. Send it to me. I'll try, she whispered. Wait. The call ended. The room went quiet, except for the beating in my ears. I stood frozen in the middle of the hotel room, hands trembling just a little, staring at my phone like I could force it to ring. Minutes passed. Then ding. A picture slid into my screen. I opened it. My breath left my body. My fingers went numb. It was him, the man from campus. The one who stared at me like he knew my soul. The one who vanished into thin air. Standing outside my dorm. Staring at the door. Waiting. I jumped to my feet so quickly I almost tripped, shoving things into my bag, hands shaking. Xavier? I called out, voice tight, moving through the room like he might suddenly appear. Xavier. Nothing. I checked the balcony. The window. The hall. Silence. I grabbed my phone again and dialed him. A faint buzzing sounded inside the room. I turned, scanning his phone was still on the table. My heart dropped straight into my stomach. Where the hell are you, Xavier? I didn't bother with breakfast, didn't bother with makeup. I just snatched my bag, threw on the first coat my hands touched, and bolted out of the hotel like the ground was cracking behind me. The morning air was cold enough to bite, but my mind barely registered it. All I could think was, where the hell are you, Xavier? I waved down the first taxi I saw. I gave the driver the address. Fast, please, I added. The driver nodded, merging into traffic. My hands wouldn't stay still on my lap. I kept gripping and ungripping my phone, like if I pressed hard enough, Xavier would magically answer. I hit Elif's name again. She picked up on the first ring. Hello? Elif, is he still there? The man you told me about? I already left, she said. Came to grab a few things and got back to where I will be staying for a while. But girl. Her voice dipped lower. He's still waiting. I swear, he looked desperate, like he's not leaving until he sees you. My stomach dropped. Desperate how? Pacing, watching the stairs, asking any girl who steps out if they know you. My heartbeat wasn't beating, it was sprinting. The taxi pulled onto the familiar narrow street. Then I saw him, standing right in front of the house, hands in the pockets of his dark coat, eyes locked on our building. The same man from the campus, the same supernatural aura, the same vanishing act. His gaze flicked up. He saw me. And everything in me froze, breath, heartbeat, thought. Because he didn't look surprised. He looked like he'd been expecting me, waiting for me, tracking me. And when he stepped toward me, slow and deliberate, the air around him seemed to bend. My fingers trembled, not from fear, but from sheer adrenaline, as I dug into my handbag, wrapped my hand around cold metal, and yanked out the electric taser. I flipped the switch, the crackle of current snapping alive, and pointed it straight at his chest. Who are you, and why the hell are you looking for me? He lifted both hands slowly, palms out, surrender in every line of his body. I'm not here to hurt you. Calm down. Then talk. What do you want from me? He glanced around, eyes ticking over girls watching from windows, from the gate, from balconies. Can we talk for a bit? Not here. We're drawing attention. Good. That's exactly what I want, I snapped. I don't know you, and the only thing I do know, my voice dropped, is that you're a damn werewolf. His jaw clenched. Yes, I am, and I'm here because I need your help, not exactly you. His eyes flicked to my neck. I need help from your alpha. I froze. My alpha. Xavier. My grip on the taser tightened until my knuckles ached. We need to talk somewhere else, please, he added quickly. I looked up at the dorm windows, heads popping out like meerkats on alert. Curious, whispering, recording. Perfect. Exactly what I didn't need. My brain flashed to the last time I followed a wolf, and things didn't end well. And here I was again, thinking of following a werewolf into God knows what. He took one slow step back, gaze steady. You don't want people learning about werewolves, do you? My jaw ticked. Fine, I hissed, but I choose where we talk. Relief washed over his face so fast it was almost pathetic. Fine, yes, wherever you want. Good, now stay the hell away from me, 10 meters. You come any closer and I swear to God I will electrify your ass into a coma. He lifted his hands higher and nodded. I turned sharply and marched down the street, leading him toward the small park near the row of cafes. Public, open, buildings close enough to scream for help if this went south. Once we reached a quiet bench under a bare tree, I spun around, taser crackling again. Start talking, now. Explain. His eyes dropped to my neck, right where Xavier's mark pulsed faintly beneath my skin. You have an alpha's mark on you. That's rare. Very rare for a human to... Yeah, I cut him off. It's rare for a human like me to walk around with supernatural ink burned into her neck. Cut the bullshit and tell me what you really want. He swallowed hard. I want your alpha to help save my pack. My breath punched out of me. Save his pack? Before I could even respond, he rushed on. There is this alpha, called Arslan Kara of the Golj Pensasi pack. His voice dropped, full of dread. He is going pack to pack across Turkey, killing alphas and claiming their members. Anyone who defies him, he wipes out their entire pack. And the worst of all, he doesn't care if it's a child or newborn. He wants to rule the entire werewolf community here, alone, by force. I stared at him, disbelief sharp as ice. Okay, and what does any of that have to do with me or my... man? I folded my arms. He's a foreigner. He can't just jump into whatever Turkish werewolf political drama you've got going on. Before I could blink, the man dropped to his knees, right there on the cold ground, hands clasped, desperation pouring off him like rain. Please, we need your help. We need his help. I blinked down at him, unimpressed. Get up, I muttered. You look like you're begging for bread, not rescue. He stayed on his knees. Our alpha is dead. Our pack is next. If we don't get help, we won't survive. I tilted my head, one brow raising, voice dripping pure sass. Listen, kneeling man, begging might work on your wolf friends, but on me? No, I don't help strangers who stalk me, scare my roommates, and show up smelling like doom. I jabbed the taser toward him again. So you'd better start explaining why Xavier should risk everything for you before I walk away and leave you to your Turkish werewolf apocalypse. He lifted his eyes to mine, desperation darkening them like a storm rolling in. We want to save our Luna. His voice cracked. She's pregnant and in hiding. Arslan Kara wants her dead because she's carrying our alpha's pup. Most of our pack has already been captured. Only 4 of us escaped. Our beta is the one protecting her, but he's running out of time, and so is she. My breath hitched, not in sympathy, but in the sharp weight of what he was describing. He wasn't talking about fear. He was talking about extinction. He swallowed hard, voice dropping. If we don't stop Arslan Kara, every werewolf lineage in Turkey will fall under him, and we can't let that happen." He shook his head, jaw trembling. "Because Arslan Kara is a living cattle, a butcher. He kills humans too, even children, pregnant women, anyone. He enjoys it." Something cold slid down my spine. Damn. This wasn't just pack drama. This was war. I dropped my arm, turned, and sat on the edge of the bench, far from him, but at least not pointing a weapon at his face anymore. "I heard you," I said slowly, "but Xavier is here to enjoy his time in Turkey, not to dive into some wolf political war. He's been through enough, and the only thing I want for him right now is peace." He nodded immediately, like he understood that much. I exhaled sharply, crossing my arms. "Why do you even think he's the solution to your problems? If other alphas couldn't fight for themselves, what makes you think Xavier?" He cut me off, voice suddenly fierce, like a man grabbing at the last rope before drowning. "Because he's not like the others." His eyes locked on mine with something almost reverent. "I could feel it from the mark on you." He leaned forward slightly. "Arslan Kara fears only one thing, an alpha stronger than him. And this alpha," he pointed at my neck, "he's the only one who fits that title right now." My chest tightened, my jaw clenched. Because damn it, he wasn't lying. And Xavier being exactly that powerful was the problem. The kind of problem Arslan Kara would smell from miles away. A low, thunderous growl ripped through the park, so deep it vibrated in my bones. "Get away from her, Xavier." Before either of us could turn, his shadow blurred. And then crack. The man flew backward, smashed against a tree so violently I heard the unmistakable snap of bone. "Xavier!" Too late. Xavier lunged again, slamming into him before he even hit the ground. The poor guy rolled, coughing, choking on the air that refused to stay in his lungs. Then Xavier was on him, fists descending like rage-made flesh. 1 hit. 2. 3, too damn many. A scream split the park, high, horrified. I whipped around and spotted a woman a few feet away, frozen, hands over her mouth. Another woman further back was already on her phone, shouting into it. Police, no doubt. My panic detonated. "Xavier, stop!" I rushed toward them, heart slamming against my ribs. "Xavier, he did not do anything, stop!" He didn't hear me, didn't even see me. His eyes were empty, feral, black with bloodlust, like something else was steering him, not my Xavier. The man beneath him had stopped trying to fight, stopped trying to move. He just lay there, bleeding from his nose, his mouth, his cheek, and accepted the hell raining down on him. Fear clawed up my throat. "Xavier!" Nothing. Nothing. I did the only thing left. I threw myself at him, wrapping my arms around him from behind, pressing my face between his shoulder blades. "Xavier, Xavier, calm down," I whispered urgently. "Baby, I'm fine. I'm right here. I'm safe. Please, calm down." His entire body jerked, like my voice cut through whatever beast had swallowed him whole. Then, slowly, slowly, his fists stopped. His chest heaved. His knuckles were soaked red, bloody, swollen, shaking. I slipped my arms from around him and stepped beside him. He rose to his full height, towering, trembling, murder gleaming in those blue-streaked eyes, a predator still searching for something to kill. My breath caught. This wasn't jealousy. This was pure, unfiltered alpha rage. Sirens wailed in the distance. Then Ellerini Chaldea? Police, guns drawn, ordering Xavier to raise his hands. My stomach dropped to the floor. Shit. I breathed. The officers rushed, 2 of them pulling the broken, bloodied man from the ground. He tried to wave them off, voice hoarse. "Sorun yok. Yanlış anlama." I'm fine, misunderstanding, but with a face that looked like ground meat. Yeah, no one was believing that. I watched helplessly, utterly helpless, as they forced Xavier's arms behind his back, snapped silver cuffs onto his wrists, and shoved him toward the car. He didn't resist. He didn't speak. He didn't even look at me. My fingers slid into my hair. Fuck! I kicked at the grass, adrenaline shaking through me. I couldn't lose him, not like this. Not for protecting me. I sprinted toward the road, waving at the first taxi I saw. It screeched to a halt and I practically dove in. Follow that police car. My voice was shaking. My hands were shaking. But my determination wasn't. I wasn't letting them drag my man away. The taxi shot forward, tires screeching as it merged into traffic. The police car ahead flashed its blue lights, slicing through the early morning haze. I leaned forward, fists clenched, heart hammering so hard it hurt. Faster, I muttered. The driver glanced at me through the mirror. Hanım Efendi, this is police. I know, I snapped. Just don't lose them. He muttered something in Turkish under his breath and pressed the accelerator. My pulse throbbed at my temples. Images kept replaying. Xavier's bloodied fists, the empty rage in his eyes, the moment he stopped only because I touched him. God. What the hell had taken over him? His wolf, definitely. When the police car finally pulled into a station, my stomach plummeted. The taxi braked behind them, and I shoved money at the driver before he even finished parking. I got out and sprinted. 2 officers dragged Xavier inside, his wrists shackled, his jaw tight, his eyes cold and unreadable, still not looking at me. I rushed to follow, but a hand blocked my path. Door, stop. A stern-faced officer shook his head. I took a steadying breath and switched to English. I'm with him. I need to see him. He didn't budge. No, yasak. Forbidden. Please. My voice cracked before I could swallow it down. Another officer approached, older, more patient-looking. He spoke slow English. You cannot go in now, miss. He must give statement. You wait. 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 My entire world was in that building. Can I at least know? Will you keep him here? Are you charging him? The officer sighed. Man very injured. Police must ask why. But the other man says, misunderstanding. Maybe small problem. Small problem? Xavier had nearly shattered the guy's skull. I bit my lip hard to keep my fear from spilling over. Can I wait inside? He considered, then nodded and stepped aside. I walked into the station, the air cold and metallic, the fluorescent lights too bright, the smell of coffee and disinfectant almost nauseating. A row of chairs lined the wall. I sat. And finally, Xavier's presence hit me. Not physically. Through the mark. A dull ache pulsed at the base of my neck, warm, tugging, alive. He was angry. He was ashamed. He was worried. He was trying to shield it from me, but the bond didn't let him hide enough. I closed my eyes, exhaling shakily. Xavier, where the hell are you? I whispered in my head. Just then a door opened. My heart jumped. They led him out. Cuffed still, but cleaner, calmer. His shirt was wrinkled, a smear of blood drying near his collar. He looked up, straight at me. And the world froze. His jaw clenched, shame and fury battling in his gaze. Myriam, he growled softly, my name like gravel and heat at once in my head. Why did you follow? Tears pushed at my eyes, but I blinked them away. I wouldn't break, not in front of him. Not when he was already breaking himself. Because you're my man, I replied in my head. Where else would I go? His nostrils flared. Something in his shoulders eased. Before I could reach him, the officer beside him lifted a paper. You can take him soon, but we ask some more question. Wait. I nodded, swallowing hard. Xavier held my gaze as they guided him away. Not a single word was spoken between us. But the mark pulsed warm. I'm here. I'm with you. Still, fear churned in my stomach. Because if this was what one desperate wolf brought, what the hell was waiting for us next? Time stopped making sense. Minutes, hours, hell, I couldn't tell. My body felt wired, my nerves stretched thin, every breath a fight not to scream. I kept staring at the hallway they'd taken Xavier through, praying that nothing worse would happen. Then the station door slammed open. I jerked my head up and walked in, the man Xavier nearly sent to the afterlife. No swelling, no bruises. Just cheap medical tape across his nose and the corner of his mouth, like a kindergarten craft project pretending to be an injury. Of course. Werewolf healing. My jaw dropped. He fucking healed. I stepped toward him, eyes wide. Why are you here? Are you here to complicate things? He raised both hands. No, he said softly. I'm here to settle things. Trust me on this. Trust him? Yeah, right. He brushed past me, walked straight to the officer's desk, pulled out a chair, and planted himself. Then he started talking. Fast. In Turkish. Like he was auditioning for the fastest speaker alive. I understood the Turkish, sure, but not when it came out that damn fast. What really got me were their gestures, the pointing, the pity in their sighs. That told me more than their words ever could. He was selling a story. Hard. After a few minutes of paperwork, more rapid-fire Turkish, and what looked like 3 signatures, he stood, then walked toward me. I lifted a brow. What happened? They're going to free him, he said. My heart slammed loudly into my ribs. Relief flooded me so intensely my knees wobbled. What did you tell them? I demanded. He scratched the back of his head. I told them I was running in the park. Didn't see my step, fell and hit my face on a metal bench. He tried to help me, but we accidentally fought. He shrugged. I said it was my fault, that he was defending himself, that I didn't want to press charges. I blinked. That's stupidly believable. He nodded toward the corner of the station. Relax, he's coming out soon. Relax? Relax my ass. Not after seeing him like that, lost, raging, gone. But before I could snap back, the door creaked open. My breath caught. Xavier stepped out. He wasn't covered in blood anymore, but he still looked lethal, hair slightly messy, jaw clenched, wrists red where the cuffs had bitten into his skin. His shoulders were tense, his eyes scanning until they landed on me. He walked straight to the counter, signed whatever papers the officer shoved at him, and the man muttered something in broken English. You free, but no more fighting, understand? Xavier gave a tight nod, dropped the pen and turned. Our eyes met. I moved first. I rushed him, wrapping my arms around his torso, burying my face in his chest. A trembling breath escaped me, one I didn't even know I was holding. His arms came around me slowly, like he was afraid he'd crush me. But then he pulled me in tighter. I was scared you'd get deported back to Canada. I whispered him against him. He huffed quietly, then lifted his hand and pinched my nose, softly, teasingly. So him. A ghost of a smile tugged at his lips. Then his gaze cut past me, straight at the man. Murder. Pure murder. I immediately stepped between them. Let's talk outside. He didn't argue. But his jaw? Yeah, it was saying I want to break his face again. We walked out of the police station and around the corner where the air was quieter, cooler, less suffocating. Before Xavier could lunge and send him to the afterlife, I grabbed his hand. Listen, I said quickly, facing him. He approached me for a reason. Xavier's eyes snapped back to me. Dark. Feral. Barely leashed. What reason, Myriam? He growled. I swallowed, tightened my grip on his fingers. He didn't come here to threaten me. He came for you. I told him everything, fast, tight, barely breathing. The Luna, the pregnancy, the hunters, Arslan Kara, the pack members captured like animals. And Xavier didn't even pretend to care. He murmured, bored, already grabbing my hand and pulling me along like the whole thing was a mild inconvenience. Before I could say another word, the man rushed after us, desperate, hopeful, stupid. Xavier stopped so sharply I almost ran into his back. The growl that rolled out of him wasn't human. It shook the damn air. Don't follow us, he snarled. Don't come near her again. The man froze. Just froze. His eyes were so full of helpless pain it jabbed something soft in me, but I didn't dare speak. Xavier's hand tightened around mine, and that was enough to swallow every apology I wanted to give. He dragged me toward the long line of yellow taxis, opened one, and jerked his head for me to get in. I slid inside. He slammed the door, circled around, and got in next to me. The taxi started moving. I opened my mouth, but he struck first. What were you thinking, meeting him alone? His voice snapped across my nerves, sharp enough to make me jerk back. Are you serious right now? I fired back, heat rushing up my throat. Yes, I'm serious. And you, where the hell were you? I snapped louder. When I called you to tell you what was happening, you just left the damn phone. Don't flip this on me. Oh, I'll flip whatever the hell I want, I hissed, leaning in. I'm not your pet wolf waiting quietly for orders. The taxi driver peeked at us through the rear-view mirror. Arkadisla, maybe calm. Stay out of this, we both snapped at him. He raised his hands. Tamam, tamam, okay, okay. Silence dropped between us, thick enough to choke on, but Xavier's jaw kept ticking, anger pulsing under his skin like a second heartbeat. And me? I wasn't calm either, not when every part of me was still vibrating from the sight of him behind those damn doors, and now snapping at me. We went right back into it, snapping, biting, going at each other like some old married couple who'd been doing this for years. You think you're right all the damn time. You don't listen. You're impossible. You're reckless. Oh, fuck you, Xavier. Get in line. What line? The driver groaned under his breath like he regretted ever picking us up. I'd had enough. Dur burada, I barked at the driver in Turkish. He hit the brakes so hard my body lurched forward. Ukreti o odayacek, I added, pointing at Xavier. He will pay. Then I shoved the door open, stepped out, and slammed it hard enough to shake the window. Don't follow me, I snapped over my shoulder. I didn't wait to see if he listened. I just stomped away, crossing the road, my heart banging against my ribs. Kim Sanior Kendini? I muttered to myself. Who the hell does he think he is talking to me like I'm his fucking Omega? I barely made it to the other side before a hand closed around my wrist and yanked me back. I spun, ready to attack, but it was him. Xavier. He looked furious, and gorgeous, and furious. Really? He growled. You're walking away from me? Xavier, are you serious? I shot back. You want a war with me? You think you can beat me with this mouth of mine? A slow, wicked smirk carved itself across his damn face. Oh, sweetheart, he murmured, leaning in. I can think of a dozen ways to shut that mouth. None of them involve fighting. My brain blanked. Heat slapped me. What? Are you serious right now? I stuttered, blinking. He sighed, the smirk slipping into something rawer. Okay, fine. I'm sorry for how I acted. I was scared. It's okay. I cut in softly. I get it. I'm sorry I snapped too. Are we good now? He asked. I nodded. We are. His arms opened, and I stepped into him without thinking, hugging him tight. His warmth sank into me, calming something deep and shaking. But it didn't last. My phone rang sharply in my bag. I pulled away, grabbed it, and checked the screen. Elif. Kanim? I answered, lifting it to my ear. Nothing. Hello? Elif? Still nothing. I pulled the phone away, frowned, checked the connection. Still connected. Hello? I tried again. Someone answered, but it wasn't Elif. It was a man's voice, deep, familiar. Merhaba, Myriam, he said calmly. Ben, Osman. The name sliced through me, the same man from the police station. So that's your name? I breathed. Why are you answering my friend's phone? A silence. Then, I'm sorry, Myriam, but your alpha left me with no choice. My blood iced. Xavier stiffened beside me. What is it? He demanded. Osman's voice hardened. I have your friend, and if your alpha doesn't agree to help us, your friend dies.
The moment that man's voice came through her phone, something primal in me snapped tight. like a cord pulled to the point of breaking. Osman. So that was his damn name. The same wolf I had slammed against that tree. The same wolf who had knelt in front of my woman begging for help. And now he had her friend. Myriam's eyes were wide, fingers trembling around her phone, her pulse racing so fast I could hear it. I stepped closer, close enough that my shadow swallowed hers. Osman spoke again, loud enough that I could hear every word bleeding through the speaker. I have your friend. If your alpha doesn't agree to help us, your friend dies. My wolf surged forward so violently I had to clamp my jaw to keep my teeth from snapping. Myriam sucked in a breath. I took the phone out of her hand before she could say a single reckless word and pressed it to my ear. You listen to me very carefully, I said, voice low, cold and lethal. If you touch one hair on her friend's head, if she so much as flinches from something you did, I will hunt you down, not as an alpha, as a monster. He hesitated. I could hear it. She is unharmed, he finally said, almost defensive. I swear it. I'm not your enemy. I just need... You don't get to need anything from me, I snapped. You kidnapped her friend. You crossed a line you cannot uncross. Myriam tugged at my arm gently. Xavier, let me talk to him. I ignored her. Tell me where she is, I demanded. No, he replied. Not yet. If I bring her to you now, you'll kill me. We both know that. I need your word you'll help us fight Arslan Kara. Arslan Kara. The name landed like a blade to the gut. That's the same name I heard this morning from the wolf I scented who'd been lingering outside our hotel. He was talking the same shit of a lunatic, deadly alpha who had murdered every damn wolf pack alive here. But this wasn't my land, not my pack, not my war. And right now, Myriam's fear drowned out every other thought. I ended the call with a single sharp movement and handed Myriam her phone back. She looked up at me. Eyes shiny, jaw trembling, trying her best to look stronger than she felt. We're getting her back, I told her. Xavier, she whispered. He sounded desperate. He sounded like a dead man, I corrected. He just doesn't know it yet. I took her face in my hands, forcing her to meet my eyes, forcing her world to narrow down to me. You're not going near him again, do you understand? Her lip quivered. But Elif, we will get Elif, I said. But you stay with me. You don't wander off, you don't play hero, you don't meet strange wolves in parks and point tasers at them. She tried to glare at me, but it came out soft around the edges. I brushed my thumb across her cheek. I'm not losing you, I murmured. Not here, not ever. She swallowed hard. I took her wrist gently, guiding her away from the street, away from the noise, away from the place her fear still lingered in the air like smoke. We're going back, I told her. We regroup, we think, and then we hunt. Her fingers slid into mine. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. Because for the first time since arriving in Turkey, the path in front of me was clear. Arslan Kara wanted a war. He was about to get one. The streets of Istanbul blurred past the taxi window, but my mind wasn't here. It was already in the battlefield I knew was coming. Arslan Kara. The wolf bastard brave enough or stupid enough to try and take me on in a land that wasn't even mine. He thought this country was his hunting ground. He was about to learn it was my territory the moment Myriam was threatened. Because the moment he touched someone connected to her, the moment he dared to drag her into his war, he made it personal. And when it becomes personal for an alpha like me, there are only two endings. I win, or everyone else dies trying. Myriam sat beside me, trying to stay calm, but I felt her fear clawing through the bond. It was soft, trembling, desperate for reassurance. I placed my hand on her thigh, firm, grounding, possessive. She exhaled shakily. "Xavier," she whispered, "please don't go crazy on him." I turned to her slowly. "Cutie pie," I murmured. "I'm already crazy, but not with rage, with love." Her breath caught. "But when it comes to everyone else," I leaned closer, brushing my nose along her cheek. "I don't give a damn. They're the threat, not you." She swallowed. Hard. Good. She needed to understand the truth. I wasn't a hero. I wasn't a savior. I wasn't the type of alpha who played politics or begged for alliances. I was the type of alpha who ended wars with blood on my hands. And this Arslan Kara would be no exception. We reached the hotel. The moment the door shut, I pulled Myriam against me, tight, secure, her heartbeat pressed to mine. Then I released her. "Stay here," I ordered. "Do not open the door for anyone, not even that bastard Osman." She stepped in front of me, chin tilted up. "Xavier, what are you going to do?" I smiled, slow, sharp, merciless. Exactly what a real alpha does when someone takes what belongs to him. Her eyes widened. "I'm ending this war before it begins. Xavier." I kissed her forehead, a soft contrast to the storm inside me. "I'll tear down every den that Arslan built. I'll break every wolf who follows him. I'll make him watch what real power looks like." Her lips parted. She wasn't scared of me, not anymore. She was scared for me. "You can't fight an entire pack alone." "Who said I'm fighting?" I murmured darkly. "I'm hunting." Osman was waiting outside the building when I stepped out. He stiffened when he saw me. Very good. He should be scared. "You came," he said. "You took her friend," I replied. "Of course I came." He swallowed. "We didn't hurt her, we just—" "You kidnapped her," I corrected. "There is no just." He dropped his eyes. I grabbed him by the shirt and slammed him into the nearest wall, not gentle, not hesitant. I let him feel every inch of my fury. "You're going to take me to your pack," I growled into his face. "And then you're going to lead me straight to Arslan Kara." Osman's breath hitched. Even wolves weren't immune to terror. "You can't fight him, watch me." I released him and stepped back. "Move." He didn't argue. He couldn't. Because the moment I decided to go to war, it was already too late for anyone to stop me. As we moved through the narrow alleys, the scent of wolves filled the night air, thick, heavy, territorial. Arslan's spies, Arslan's guards, Arslan's shadow. They watched me. That's great, though. Let them watch. Let them run and tell their master that death was coming. Osman quickened his pace, glancing back at me every other second. "Xavier, before we reach them, there's something you should know." "I don't care," I said simply. "The only thing I want is the location of Myriam's friend." "She's safe for now, but Arslan, he's not like other alphas. I don't need a briefing," I snapped. "I need a target." Osman fell silent. And step after step, scent after scent, tension rising like a storm about to break. I felt Arslan Kara's presence. A dark, ancient dominance. Strong enough to make lesser wolves kneel. But I wasn't a lesser wolf. I was the predator he should have feared. As we approached the abandoned warehouse where the Luna was hiding, Osman stiffened. "This is where we meet the others," he whispered. "Xavier, whatever happens inside, please don't kill them." I smiled, not kind, no promises. We stepped through the metal doors, and 4 wolves turned toward us instantly. Their eyes widened as they sensed me. One whispered, "That's him, the foreign alpha." Another, "The one who nearly killed Osman." I cracked my neck slowly. "Good," I murmured. "You know exactly who the fuck I am." Their fear filled the room like a delicious scent. But then one stepped forward bold, scarred, already on edge. "Xavier," he said, If you're here to help, I'm here, I interrupted, to end a tyrant. And if you're in my way, I'll end you first. The room went silent. Osman whispered my name, begging me with his eyes not to tear his pack apart. And then footsteps. Soft, cautious. A woman stepped forward, pregnant, terrified, determined. Their Luna. She looked at me like I was her last hope. Alpha Xavier, she said softly, please help us stop Arslan. I stared at her belly, and for a brief second I saw Maya. Then I shifted my eyes at the terrified pack, then at Osman, then at the shadows of the coming war. Finally I exhaled. Fine, I said, I'll kill him for you. Osman let out a broken breath of relief. But after that, I stepped forward, dominance flooding the room. You all answer to me. The moment I stepped out of the warehouse and into the night air, I felt him. Arslan Kara. His dominance pressed against me like a storm front, thick, heavy, the kind of presence that made lesser alphas fold to their knees before they even thought about resisting. I didn't kneel. I smiled, because only two types of wolves radiate power like that. Monsters and kings. And I wasn't about to let a monster think he ruled anything that involved my woman or my territory, temporary or not. Osman trembled beside me. He's close, he whispered. No shit, I muttered. He wants me to know. As if on cue, a howl split the sky. Long, commanding, and cruel. Arslan was calling his wolves. One by one, shadows emerged from alleys, rooftops, corners of abandoned buildings. Eyes glowing, teeth bared, bodies tense, the hunger for violence. Not 5, not 10, 20, 30, more. A whole damn army of wolves, circling us like sharks smelling blood. Myriam's friend, Elif, was somewhere behind enemy lines. The pregnant Luna was inside, protected by scared wolves and thin hope. And Arslan was out here trying to show me he controlled the battlefield. His mistake. He believed numbers won wars. But wars aren't about numbers. Wars are about fear. And I was the only one standing here unafraid. Stay behind me, I ordered Osman. He obeyed instantly. Good. At least someone here had functioning instincts. Heavy footsteps echoed through the cracked road. 2 wolves shoved Myriam's friend into view. Hands tied, mouth gagged, tears streaking down her face. Elif saw me and gasped like hope just entered her lungs. Then he stepped out. Arslan Kara. Tall, scarred, eyes as black as a ruined soul. Shoulders thick, posture arrogant, surrounded by wolves like he was some god they wanted to worship. He smiled at me, not friendly, predatory. So, Arslan said, voice deep enough to vibrate the ground, you're the foreign alpha causing trouble in my land. Your land? I raised a brow. That's a bold claim for a dead man walking. A ripple of rage passed through his wolves, but Arslan simply laughed, that cold, humorless laugh of a tyrant who assumed he'd already won. Do you know how many wolves I command? He asked. I stopped counting after 30, I said. Math was boring. His smile dropped. You're outnumbered, Xavier, outmatched, and you came here alone. I smirked. No, I didn't. Arslan blinked. Oh? I pointed behind him. To the wolves watching you from the shadows. The ones praying for someone, anyone, to kill you so they can crawl out from under your boot. Silence. Every wolf froze. Arslan stiffened. I stepped forward, voice sharp, merciless. You know which wolves I'm talking about. The ones you beat into obedience, the ones who lost their alphas and mates because of you. The ones who lost pups because you were too drunk on power to protect your damn pack. A few wolves looked down, jaws clenched. Others looked away entirely. Those wolves, I continued, aren't yours. They're slaves waiting for a chance. Arslan snarled, silence. You want silence? I asked softly. Kill me. The whole pack tensed. Arslan's eyes gleamed, gladly. He lunged fast as lightning, but I was faster. I dodged, grabbed his wrist, twisted and slammed him face first into the dirt so hard the ground cracked beneath us. His wolves gasped. He choked on dust. I growled into his ear. First lesson, don't fucking underestimate me. He roared, shifting mid-spin, fur bursting over his skin, bones snapping, body twisting until he was full wolf. A monstrous black beast with eyes like burning coal. He pounced. I shifted mid-air, my wolf exploding out of me in a white-hot surge of fury larger than most alphas, heavier, built for destruction. We collided like two storms meeting at the center of the earth. Claws tore. Teeth sank and blood sprayed. Growls shook the night. His wolves circled. Mine, none. But the ones who wanted freedom, they hesitated. Conflicted eyes. Shifting breaths. Silent hope. Perfect. All I needed was a spark. Arslan slammed me into a wall. I bit into his shoulder, heard him scream. He raked my side, blood poured hot and thick. Pain didn't slow me. Pain fueled me. Around us, wolves flinched, unsure who to help. Arslan barked an order. All of you, kill him. They charged. 30 wolves. Fury, teeth, claws, death coming fast. Osman screamed my name. And then a single wolf stepped between me and the incoming wave. A scarred female wolf. One of Arslan's. She lowered her head toward me in a bow. Then she turned and attacked her own pack. The spark. Another wolf joined her. Then another. And another. Arslan roared in disbelief. You traitors! I lunged, slamming him into a rusted truck, shaking the metal. No, I growled. They're wolves tired of being beaten. More wolves tore off Arslan's sigil armbands, throwing them on the ground. Those loyal to freedom howled behind me. Those loyal to Arslan howled in rage, and then war erupted. Claws clashed, blood sprayed, flesh tore. Growls filled the night like thunder. Bodies collided in a frenzy of violence and vengeance. I ripped through wolves like they were nothing, protecting the weak ones siding with me, shredding the ones who tried to flank, hunting down threats before they got close. Every wolf who tried to reach Elif, I tore down without hesitation. Every wolf who attacked the pregnant Luna's allies, I gutted them. Every wolf who screamed Arslan's name, I made sure it was the last thing they ever screamed. This wasn't a fight. This was a reckoning, a cleansing, and a rebirth for every wolf who wanted freedom. Arslan scrambled back, blood dripping from his muzzle, chest heaving, realization dawning he was losing. Not because I was stronger, but because he had no real pack, just prisoners. I stepped over fallen wolves and growled, "This is where your reign ends." His eyes widened. He then stepped forward, his fur matted with the blood of wolves who weren't even his enemies, just obstacles. His eyes were fever bright, locked on me with the madness of a wolf who'd already decided how this ends. I growled low, stepping forward, my skin burning from every slash, every bite, every fucking miracle it took to stay on my feet. The wolves behind me watched with their chests heaving, waiting. "About your marked human," he said through the mind link. "What's her name again?" "Myriam. Do you think you left her safe in that hotel room?" My vision tunneled, my body instinctively stopping mid-attack. Fear, instinct, protection. The one flaw every alpha carries. Arslan's grin widened. "Got you." He moved before I could curse myself. A blur of claws, a flash of silver, and his jaws were on my neck. I barely ripped my arm up in time. His teeth sank deep, through skin, through muscle, straight into my palm. Silver. A metallic burn exploded through my veins, scorching every nerve, making my knees buckle. Pain punched through my chest so hard black dots burst across my vision. I roared in fear, in fury. The world dimmed, sound warped. My wolf staggered inside me, slamming against the edges of consciousness. Arslan pushed harder. His teeth ground deeper. I felt the bone give. He wanted my throat. He wanted my life. He wanted the silence of the entire battlefield to end with my last breath. For a heartbeat I swayed. A second more and I'd be gone. But then I heard her. Not words, not a shout, just her breath. Terrified, breaking, begging me silently not to fall. My wolf tore through the fog. Silver or not, pain or not, death or not, no one makes my woman sound like that. With a snarl from somewhere deep and feral, I twisted violently, ripping my hand free. Flesh tore, blood sprayed, pain detonated, but I didn't give a damn. I slammed my forehead into Arslan's snout so hard he recoiled, stumbling. Then I pounced. No strategy, no finesse, just raw, blinding brutality. I tackled him onto the ground, claws sinking into his chest, crushing down with every ounce of strength I had left. His growls turned desperate, ragged. He tried to throw me off, failed. I hit him again and again. I felt bones snap under my weight. He couldn't breathe. I didn't let him. He kicked, weak. He clawed slower. His lungs wheezed like a dying beast beneath me. I leaned in close, my breath hot against his ear. You touched what's mine. I crushed harder. And now you fucking die for it. Arslan's body jerked. Once, twice. And then the world tilted. My breaths came shallow, uneven. The silver poisoning my arm crawled up toward my shoulder. My vision spun violently, colors smearing together. Wolves shouted. Someone screamed my name. I tried to stand. But the ground rose to meet me as my body toppled sideways, the battlefield spinning into a blur of blood, dust, and her scent fading in and out like a heartbeat losing its rhythm. Then everything went dark.
4 hours. Maybe 5. I'd lost count somewhere between pacing the length of the hotel room and sitting on the edge of the bed, only to stand up again 2 seconds later. My legs ached. My nerves were shot. My heart kept punching against my ribs like it was trying to fight its way out. Xavier should have called. Even if it was one word, one growl, one pissed-off warning telling me not to move. He always said something. But tonight, nothing. I checked my phone for the 100th time. No missed calls. No messages. No Aleph either. Her phone wasn't even ringing anymore, just silent like it didn't exist. I dragged a hand through my hair, pacing again. God, Xavier, what the hell is going on? The hotel phone rang. The sharp sound cracked through the quiet, and I jumped, hand flying to my chest before I grabbed the receiver. Hello? Good evening, miss, the receptionist said politely. You have a visitor waiting. My brows furrowed. A visitor? Yes, miss. My stomach dropped. Who the hell knew I was even here? I opened my mouth to tell her to send them away, but the thought hit me Osman. It could be Osman. Maybe he came to explain everything Xavier didn't. I'll be right there, I blurted instead, ending the call before I could overthink it. I snatched my handbag, my phone, and hurried downstairs, every step echoing louder than it should have. When I stepped into the visitors' lounge, my breath caught. Not Osman. Not even close. A young woman rose from the couch, her skin warm-toned, her features nothing like Turkish, eyes sharp, posture too still, too controlled, too wrong. She smiled at me. Hello, Myriam. I'm Jasmine. Her voice was sweet, intentionally sweet. Alpha Xavier sent me to take you. My stomach clenched, every instinct in my body lighting up red. Xavier didn't send her. He wouldn't send a stranger. He wouldn't send anyone. I forced a polite smile anyway. Okay, let me just grab my phone first. Bad move. I already had the damn phone in my hand. Jasmine's expression didn't change, but she moved faster than a blink. Her arm shot out, blocking my path inches from my chest. Her smile widened, fake and chilling. "Take another step," she whispered, "and both your alpha and your friend die. Instantly." My breath froze. "Excuse me." My voice cracked, though I tried to hide it. "Who the hell are you? And who sent you?" Jasmine tilted her head, eyes gleaming with something cruel. "You'll find out," she said calmly. "Now don't draw any unnecessary attention." She stepped closer. "Come with me." Jasmine's grip on my arm was surprisingly gentle, which somehow made it worse. She guided me out of the hotel like I was a guest being escorted somewhere luxurious instead of kidnapped. Outside, a black car waited, windows tinted so dark I couldn't see inside. She opened the passenger door. "Get in." I slid in slowly, mind racing, pulse beating against my throat. Jasmine rounded the hood and slipped into the driver's seat without a sound. As soon as the doors shut, the locks clicked. The car sped off. I stared out the window, searching for any sign of life, any chance to run, any crack in this perfect trap. No Xavier, no Elif, no backup. Just me, and my taser. And a woman who looked like she'd eat me alive if she was bored enough. The city lights thinned. Buildings gave way to long stretches of road. And Jasmine took a sharp turn onto the highway that cut through the forest. Great. Woods. Perfect place to disappear forever. I swallowed, cleared my throat, and forced my voice to stay steady. "So, Jasmine, you from around here? Because the way you drive, babe, I'm guessing not." "Nothing." "Do you even know where we're going? Should I pull out Google Maps for you? No? Okay." Still nothing. God, this woman was ice. I exhaled and leaned back. "Fine then, let's stop pretending. Was it Arslan Kara? He's the one who sent you?" Her knuckles tightened on the wheel. That was all I needed. "Of course," I muttered. "It was him." Jasmine flicked her eyes toward me, jaw ticking. I pressed on. "Why are you with a man like that? What did he promise you, huh? Power? Pack status? A pat on the head for being a loyal little psycho? And you," she snapped finally, voice sharp as a blade. "What did your Alpha Xavier promise you?" "He didn't promise me anything." I pulled my collar aside and shoved the mark at her. "I'm his woman. This is what binds us. Do you even know what that means? I belong to him." Jasmine let out a cold snort. "Belong? That's cute. You sound like a child bragging about a sticker." "That's because he marked me," I shot back. "Not because I begged for it. Something you don't know anything about." The glare she threw me could have burned through titanium. Then she turned onto a side road and slammed the brakes. Hard. The car jerked so violently I flew forward, barely catching myself on the dashboard. A truck blared its horn as it rushed past, inches from crushing us. "Are you crazy?" I yelled, but my heart suddenly wasn't on her anymore. It was on the opening the universe had just handed me. My hand darted into my bag. She saw the movement, but too late. The taser was already in my hand. I fired. The electric crackle exploded between us. Jasmine's scream tore through the car as her body jerked violently, hands slamming against the steering wheel before her whole body stiffened. Her eyes rolled. Her breath hitched. Her limbs spasmed. I unlocked the door, grabbed my bag, but Jasmine's hand, still twitching from the shock, clamped onto the strap with an iron grip. "Let go," I hissed, tugging. She didn't. Fine. She could keep the damn bag. I yanked free, snatched my phone, shoved the door open, and bolted. The cold air slapped me in the face as my feet hit the pavement. I looked back just once, just enough to see Jasmine fighting the aftershocks, her body trembling like she would be on me in seconds. Fuck the highway. Too open. Too easy to chase. The trees were my only chance. I sprinted toward the woods and tore into them, branches whipping at my skin, adrenaline burning through me as I ran deeper. Deeper. And deeper, without looking back. Branches slapped my face as I ran deeper into the forest, lungs burning, heart slamming against my ribs. My legs wouldn't stop, my mind couldn't stop. But then a sharp stabbing pain tore through my chest. Not mine. His. Xavier. I choked, stumbling forward. The world spun. My knee buckled, but I caught myself on a tree trunk, gasping for air. Another wave of pain hit. Hot, metallic, blinding, like claws raked through muscle and bone. He was hurt. Badly. My mark throbbed like it was boiling. Please, Xavier, stay alive. Stay alive. I pushed forward, legs shaking. Every few steps, a new jolt of agony radiated through me, stealing my breath. Then a twig snapped behind me. I didn't turn. I already knew. Jasmine, I growled. Her voice came cold, close, and annoyingly calm. You run fast for someone about to die. I whirled around just as she lunged. We crashed into the dirt, rolling across the forest floor. Her grip was brutal nails digging into my arm, trying to flip me. But I wasn't helpless. I slammed my knee into her stomach. She coughed, but didn't loosen her grip. Her fist swung toward my jaw. I ducked, grabbed her wrist, and twisted. She hissed. Should have stayed in the car, doll. You should have stayed loyal to the right man. We grappled, rolling until she pinned me. Dirt smeared across her cheek, her hair wild, her eyes not glowing. Not wolf. You're... I gasped, shocked. You're human. She froze for a fraction of a second. Then she punched me. Human enough, she spat. We kept fighting, grabbing, swinging, kicking two desperate women fueled by fear and fury. But when I caught her wrist again, my fingers brushed a faint scar on her neck. The shape, the pattern, the burn. A collar mark. A control mark. You belong to someone, I whispered. Jasmine's entire face cracked for a heartbeat. Then she shoved off me, breathing hard. My father sold me to Arslan when I was 7, she said flatly. He keeps my sister captive. If I disobey him, she dies. My stomach dropped. Her voice was thin, almost fragile. I'm not with him because I want to be. I pushed myself up. If you help me find Xavier, I swear I'll help you get your sister. Jasmine's jaw clenched. Her arms trembled. Take me to him, I insisted. Right now. Her eyes softened just barely. Fine, she whispered. But if we're too late... We're not, I cut her off. He's alive. I feel him. She nodded once. Then follow me. We ran. Branches tore at our clothes. The forest grew darker, thicker, colder. Then the trees opened and my heart shattered. Blood everywhere. On the grass, on the trees, smeared across rocks. Pools of it, dark and drying. But no bodies, no wolves. No movement. Nothing. My throat closed. Xavier. Xavier, where? Jasmine grabbed my arm before I collapsed. He's alive, she said firmly. Look. She pointed at a deep set of tracks. These are wolf drags. They carried survivors. They headed east, toward the Kara estate. My breath trembled. You're sure? Yes. Her voice was softer now. Let's move. The Kara Pack estate rose from the forest like an old fortress stone, metal and towering walls stained with smoke and fire. People swarmed the entrance, some injured, some crying, some in shock. As we approached, whispers rose. Arslan is dead. Did you see what the foreign alpha did? He tore him apart. My chest tightened. Xavier killed him. But at what cost? I grabbed one shaken girl by the arm. Where is he? The foreign alpha. Where did they take him? She pointed to the far building. The healer's lodge. Jasmine and I sprinted. Inside, it smelled like herbs, smoke, and blood. And there in the centre of a small room lay Xavier. My heart slammed to a stop. He was half-shifted, body torn, bruised and covered in dried dark herbs that looked like burned ash stuck to every wound. His skin was pale. Breath faint. Eyes closed. No, I whispered, knees buckling as I rushed to him. Xavier, please, please don't do this. A man stepped forward, wiping sweat from his brow. I am the healer, he said. Stay back. The silver is deep in his bloodstream. I'm pulling it out. Silver? I choked. Will he? He'll live, the healer said firmly. He saved us. He killed the man who enslaved us. I owe him my life. I'll make sure he wakes up. My hand hovered over Xavier's cheek. He was burning hot. Too hot, and sweating too much. Jasmine placed a hand on my shoulder. You're safe now. Stay with him. The healer stepped away, leaving herbs steaming in a bowl. Then Jasmine quietly slipped out. The door shut. I was alone with him. Finally. I knelt beside him, trembling, pressing my forehead against his. I'm right here, I whispered. You hear me, Xavier. I'm not leaving you. Not now. Not ever. His fingers twitched. My breath hitched. His fingers twitched again. Then his chest rose deeper, rough, uneven. I froze beside the bed, breath caught tight in my throat. Xavier, I whispered. His eyes opened slowly, unfocused at first, then sharp as knives when they found me. Mimi? His voice was gravel. What happened? I told you to stay inside. I swallowed hard. I know, Xavier. But you didn't call. You didn't answer. Elif wasn't answering. I panicked. Someone came for me, Jasmine. She lied, and two fought her. I tasered her. I ran. And then I felt your pain. I followed it. I followed you. He stared at me for a long, tense moment, jaw ticking, eyes darkening with something possessive and furious and relieved all at once. Are you hurt anywhere? He demanded, voice low, dangerous. No, I whispered. I'm fine. He exhaled, head dropping back for a beat like he'd been holding his breath for hours. Xavier. I hesitated. Did you see Elif? Is she? The door swung open. Osman stepped in. I jumped to my feet. Where is Elif? Tell me she's okay. She's fine, Osman said gently. We took her back to the dorm after erasing her memories. I blinked. Erasing? What? How is that even possible? Osman looked at Xavier first, almost asking permission. Then he answered. For humans exposed to too much supernatural trauma, our healers can remove specific memories. She saw too much tonight. If we didn't, she would have lived in fear forever. My stomach twisted. But she won't remember anything, not even me. She'll remember you, he said, just not the parts that could get her hurt. Then he turned to Xavier, bowing his head. Alpha Xavier, thank you, for everything, and I'm truly sorry for the trouble we caused you. Xavier didn't even look at him. He shifted, trying to sit up. Xavier, wait. I grabbed his arm. You can't. You still have silver in your system. He brushed my hand aside and rose anyway, jaw clenching at the pain. I need to get out of this place, he muttered. It's suffocating me. I turned to Osman quickly. Please bring him some clothes, anything that fits. Osman nodded and hurried out. I faced Xavier again. Can't you just stay one night? My voice cracked. I'm scared something might happen. He reached for me, hands still trembling, and pulled mine into his. Don't worry, Mimi, he murmured. I'm fine. I just need a quiet place, with you around. My chest tightened painfully. I nodded. Osman returned with jeans and a shirt that looked comically tight on Xavier, but he didn't complain. He pulled them on with slow, strained movements. We walked out together. The entire pack parted for him without a word, heads bowed, eyes wide with gratitude, fear, awe. Xavier gave none of them so much as a glance. His hand stayed on my lower back the whole time, steadying me, or maybe steadying himself. We got into one of the many cars. I drove. He sat in the back, head resting against the seat, eyes closed, too quiet. Every few minutes I checked the mirror. Are you okay? Silence. Xavier, are you sure? His voice rumbled low, sharp, cocky even through pain. Sweetheart, do you want me to first make love to you so you know I'm fine? My face burned instantly. Xavier. He smirked without even opening his eyes. By the time we reached the hotel, my heart was in my throat. Upstairs, inside our room, he breathed out roughly. I need to wash up. I smell like blood, and burning woods, and that bastard's last breath. I bit my lip. You need help? His lips curled slowly. You're welcome. I filled the tub, warm water, soap, steam rising. Then he stripped, every movement slow, pained, but still so him. He sank into the water, muscles trembling, breath uneven. He reached a hand out. Come here. I stripped off my ripped clothes and sank inside. He pulled me close, wrapping his hands around me. His voice dropped to a soft, exhausted whisper. That was close. I frowned. What was? His eyes opened, dark, raw, exposed for the first time tonight. Losing another woman I love. My breath caught painfully. I knew exactly who he meant, what he'd survived, what he'd lost. A deep ache spread through my chest. I held his hand. And here I am, I whispered. I told you I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to live. Live for you. His eyes closed like the words hit somewhere he didn't know was still alive. Healing Xavier wasn't a one-day miracle. Silver didn't leave an alpha's blood easily, and neither did the memories of almost losing him. The first nights were the hardest, him waking up breathless, clutching his chest like he still felt the poison burning inside him, and me holding him until it passed. But he healed. He healed fast. Because he had something to live for now. Me. And life returned to normal, except nothing about being with an alpha like Xavier was normal. I still had exams the last stretch before graduation, and he made sure I studied. But every time I picked a book, that man would drag me onto his lap, nuzzle my neck, murmur, I'll quiz you, sweetheart, and then kiss me until I forgot the question. Still, I passed every exam. Maybe because he sat with me every night, or because he threatened my teachers with a polite visit if I failed. And when it wasn't study time, he took me on dates through Istanbul rooftops, Bosphorus cruises, late-night walks, and stupidly expensive dinners where he gave me the kind of look that made the waiters blush. And yes, we made love. A lot. Once in the hotel elevator, and a worker walked in on us. She saw everything. Everything. Xavier didn't even blink. Just handed her a thick fold of dollars and said, You saw nothing. She nodded so fast I thought her neck might break. Life was perfect, messy, beautiful. And then graduation happened. He sat in the crowd, the only man in the whole hall wearing a black shirt, black sleeves rolled up, pure danger wrapped in sinful beauty. And when my name was called, he stood. Only him. Clapped once loud, commanding, and the whole room looked at him. But I only looked at him. Afterward, he didn't even let me take off my graduation gown. He pulled me into the hotel room, lifted me, pressed me against the door, and loved me like he had been starving for years. I slept on his chest afterward, barely able to walk. The next morning he woke me with a kiss and said, Get dressed. I'm taking you somewhere. Cappadocia. Hot air balloons rising like painted stars. The sun melting gold over the valleys. Wind soft, warm, magical. He booked a private balloon because of course he did, and when we reached the sky, floating above the world, he stood behind me, arms around my waist, chin on my shoulder. Sweetheart, he murmured. I turned and he was holding a ring. Gold. Simple. Powerful, eternal. Marry me, he said quietly. No pack politics, no pressure. Just you and me, choosing each other. My breath broke. Yes, I whispered. He kissed me as the sun dipped low, the sky burning in pink and gold. When the kiss finally slowed, he brushed his thumb on my cheek and said, My 9-month vacation ends tomorrow, and you just graduated. A pause. A breath. Would you come with me to Canada? I cut him off, pressing my hand over his heart. Wherever you go, I'll follow, I said. And when we get there, I want us to marry in front of your pack, your people, our people. He smiled, slow, fierce, full of love and claim. I love you, he whispered. I love you too. And we kissed again, high above Cappadocia, floating in the kind of moment people spend lifetimes searching for.
You're the rain that won't wash you away, the shadow in my everyday. No matter how the storm rolls in, I still feel your touch on my skin. I run, I cry, I pray, but you stay. You're the rain that won't wash you away. I kiss new lips to heal me, but they don't taste like home. I smiled and danced with strangers, but I still feel alone. I screamed at the sky, please take it from me. But every cloud just weeps what we used to be. You're the